we've got a real. This is where the real controversial stuff happens.
Yes.
So this is something that's been going on for a while. It's not new news, but it's something that it seemed like it would be interesting for us to discuss.
It caught our attention.
It has been flaring up recently for new reasons.
Don't worry, Jonathan. We'll get you to the doctor eventually.
Thank you. It's really flaring up. So Prodos Games publishes the AVP miniatures game, which we've sold in our store. It's been around. It started as a Kickstarter.
Yes, we haven't actually played it, but Neil has it.
That's right. Do you have a copy? We haven't tried it yet. Kickstarter. They had this Kickstarter, and there were a lot of issues.
They didn't. Oh no, the Alien one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting there. So the Alien one. There were issues with the site. The page got taken down. They said there were problems with Fox in terms of having the IP, and it was all kind of muddled and they didn't communicate a lot of things to people, and ultimately ended up, we're at a point now where there are still a lot of people who have not received their backed games, even though this game is now available for retail, which we've seen happen sometimes with other Kickstarters before, but this is, it's been available in retail for like months now. So it seems like a bigger problem even than some other issues in the past. So that's the whole thing. And then just recently, I think it was less than a month ago, earlier this month probably, there was a new Kickstarter campaign that popped up for this game called Load from Archon Games. And it was revealed later, not at the time that the thing launched, that Archon Games...
Not revealed as much as that a whole bunch of people did investigation?
Right. They kind of dug into it and figured it out.
Right.
That Archon Games is actually a subsidiary wholly owned by Prodos. And it seems like they were not revealing their identity specifically because of their bad reputation from that earlier thing. And a lot of people are angry about that. This campaign is still ongoing.
No, and it still has a lot of money.
Still has a lot of it's I don't know if it's complete. It is completely funded.
Last I checked, I think it needed like 30,000, and when I saw it said 200.
But from what I've read, there was at least somewhat of a dip, like when people found out. A lot of people did leave from it. So I guess the discussion here is we've touched on this a little bit before, but the ethics of Kickstarter and releasing games and honesty. I mean, that's I don't know what kind of manufacturing things have held them up, because as we know, there's always that issue. I think the real error they've made is in communication and being upfront with people about what their problems have been, and not making it up to people who still don't have their games. And then, it definitely sounds like very shady that it sounds like they created this company to get around, to avoid having any negative articles and reactions.
Well, first thing is the big mistake there is, remember, you're on the internet, and God knows there's people on there who have a lot of time on their hands.
Well, yeah, and also when people asked them, who are you guys? They were like, we can't tell you that. You have to wait.
That makes people even more suspicious. Therefore, they're going to do more digging.
Right. Not a good thing. Go ahead.
And definitely, as a Kickstarter, or at least from what I've seen, is communication is one of the most important things you need to have.
Yeah, for sure.
And from what you've told me about this, because you're the one who found it and been trying to dig through.
Doing journalistic research.
All the different threads you had to jump through. I even saw a couple of them. That you've had to, it sounded like that they didn't even know that they had to give away some games still. And by people getting things from their site,
for some reason that if some of the backers now, if they purchase a new pack from their online store, then and only then have Prodos been shipping the rest of the things that they already paid for. So there's some very weird logistical bureaucracy stuff, it sounds like, going on behind the scenes.
Do you know where they're stationed?
No, I don't know where they are.
Because I'm curious whether language is an issue.
Maybe.
That's always something. And I'm also curious because this is, as far as Kickstarter debacles go for board games, the other big one that comes to mind that happened is the Doom that came to Atlantis.
Right, Atlantic City.
Atlantic City,
very different places.
Yes, very different for now. But once the ocean rises, but in that one, I know the person, not the game designers, but I think the person who ran the Kickstarter said oh, this is just to make the company that would make the game
Right,
something.
right.
Like,
It was a weird.
and I want to know whether
backpedal.
some of the money went to that instead of the game, and that's why people.
Yeah, I really don't know. I know that for this new one, that Archon supposedly is also used to make miniatures for other companies. I think that's part of what they're saying, is that like this is our miniatures company or something, and that's why we're using it. I don't know, but it definitely puts a bad taste in people's mouths. Like, people are not. A lot of people are upset, and probably rightfully so. I think you've had a couple, at least one or two, poor Kickstarter experiences.
I've only had one.
Just one. Like, it took a very long time.
Yeah. I don't, and this wasn't a big company. It was one guy, and
Right.
And I don't blame him as much, also because I wasn't dying for it. It was just for some dice.
Right.
And like, when you underestimate one price thing, that can make the difference, the biggest difference.
Well, I guess my question is, if you had backed AVP and still hadn't received your thing, I mean, would that affect your?
Oh, that was the other thing. What I paid was like $12.
Oh, right, right. This game can easily, people have paid like way over 100,
Right.
because there's a ton of stuff in there.
And the difference is, I've had a couple other ones who maybe I still haven't received her off, but they're telling me why.
Right.
And why it's taking long. And as long as I know it's coming and what's the issue is, I don't care.
Right.
Because it means I know you're working on it. Like, for example, I know one thing was a shirt, but the shirts got damaged, like in the store, the roof collapsed and rain and destroyed everything.
Right.
And they're working on getting more. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I know what happened. I know you're working on it. And
Yeah.
as long as you know there's a path for me. But we've had these arguments because I'm very lackadaisical to dates. Like, I can understand, but I wouldn't care if retailers got it first before me.
Well, but I think there's a difference between a week and 6 months.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm much more.
And again, it's that communication thing. Like,
yeah.
if they
but
said,
that's, like I said, that's the big part.
Yeah.
As long as I'm hearing things.
right, I agree.
The problem is what you're telling me, and I think it's being seen in the fact that I understand why they're hiding, but that's obviously an issue, is that people don't know why they're not.
Right. If they just said, hey, listen, we're sorry about this. We know you guys did whatever. It's going to go to retailers first, and maybe we'll give you an extra pack or something to make up for it.
Sure, people are still going to be pissed. But the fact that...
It would be a lot better.
Yes. It's... I guess to me also, I know this comes up actually a lot in gaming, which is depending on what games you and I like more. I definitely get angrier when trust gets broken involved. Uh-huh. And that's why if you do something bad but it's out front, I don't think that's as bad as even something smaller but hiding and lying about it.
Right. Yeah.
So I think to me that would be the thing that would get me.
That is the biggest thing. Like, it never makes it better if you don't tell people what's wrong.
It's sort of like, even if something, how when something...
We've learned that from every romantic comedy.
If something, God knows how many times you see a story like, well, if they actually talk.
Right, just sit down and talk about it.
But I was saying, have you had something bad happen to you, but leading up to that moment, like not knowing the bad result yet, is worse.
Right. It's like, just get it out of the way. Just tell me that I can process it and deal with it.
Yeah.
It's the not knowing.
And that's the annoying thing, because you don't know when it's going to come because they're not telling you, and you don't know why.
It's like the Oculus Rift.
It's not because you don't know if they oversold. Is it because that they just don't have enough? Like, I can't think of all different reasons. And I do think that's interesting. I don't feel bad that way. Like, I think we actually talked about this when we were talking about the show that we went to, the speed gaming event, with the how like the Codenames guy. Like,
right.
I'm like, I find it perfectly fine that I understand you're selling out because it's so popular and you can't get enough. I don't think it's your fault.
Right.
And we know why no one has it. It's because it's selling so fast, and it's not like you're in any intention or anything. But this is just like how many different threads did you look through for this?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Like, well, if you go to the New Games Board Game Geek page, for example, like most people are just talking about, who are these guys? Should I back this? What's the deal? What's going on with these people? So, bottom line, communication is key, especially for Kickstarters, which can have. I mean, it's a risk. It's always a risk because they're not technically required to do anything.
Yeah, I think
their loopholes are pretty big. So it's.
But like we said, we did not actually back either. While Neil does have the Alien game, and we haven't played it, but I've looked through it, and the pieces do look fantastic outside the box. Really weird choicing on box.
Right, the other weird box.
But that's neither here or there.
That's neither here nor there.
But, we'd definitely like to hear your opinion. If you backed them, if you had issues, if you are them, maybe why you want to communicate.
Yes. If you're out there, Prodos Games, give us your take on this.
Or if you're
dare.
supporting of them, let us know. Like we said, we just looked through things, and there's a lot of things there and complicated. This is the kind of stuff we want to hear from you guys about.